Okay, to answer question 5, you'll need to scroll down to the appendix again and open the market research brief. So this is going to help you to answer some of the questions in this market research plan. Go back up to 5, open that up. And basically all you need to do is fill in any blanks and anything in red. So here you might put the project name, so it's market research and then your research project name. So it could be your department store name and then what department you're bringing in. Then your name will go here, your head of marketing, and then your department store name goes here. And then we need the sign off from the CEO. So whatever you name the CEO, position CEO, and then the department store name again. So this will be version 1 because this will be our draft version. So just put in today's date, you're the author, and you can just write NA in the brief description because this is the first version. Okay, so as you can see here, business need, you go into the market brief and here's the business need, and you copy that in. Then we need the deliverables. So if you go back across, I think you need to scroll down a bit. Deliverables are here. Okay, these ones here. Okay, objectives. Sorry, these ones up here. And then the milestones. They're these ones here. Oops, wrong thing. And then the budget. So you've been given a budget of $100,000. So you can just divide up that number. So in other, I would put implementation of new marketing opportunity. You can actually put in what department. So implementation of clothing department, implementation of online store. So probably that one and the labor, so like the wages, are going to be your highest expenses. And then we've got the survey, printing, and publication of the survey data. So they're probably going to be the least expensive ones. And then the implementation and the wages will be the most. So just, yeah, you use your judgment for that one. Then we've got communications plan. So the stakeholders can be the ones that you mentioned in question 1A. Don't write question 1A. Go and look at the stakeholders you put in there. The communication type. So this will probably just be like project updates. And then the communication method. So is it email? Is it meetings? And then communication frequency. How often will you send out these project updates? Okay, then the last thing to do is going to put in a performance plan. And this is just to say what the key responsibilities are for the marketing department, what tasks they need to do, what key performance indicators they need to hit, whose responsibility, and then the time frame. So I've put in some objectives at the top here, and they're coming straight from the market brief. So we need to do the customer surveys. They need to be developed by the end of May. So the key responsibility there is just making sure the surveys are developed and completed by the end of May. So the task that you would need to do would be to actually make sure that the questions you're asking are going to give you the data that you need to make sure that your marketing, new marketing opportunity is actually going to be profitable and viable. So I guess you could say here developing suitable questions to answer whether the department will be profitable. Now, key performance indicators, this is what the indicator is that it's been a success. So maybe once the survey is fully developed and the questions will give us the answers we need. Responsibility, that would be the head of marketing, which is you in this assignment, and some of your team members. So maybe it will be all 8 team members, or maybe just a few will work on it with you. And then the time frame, it says by the end of May. I think we're working on that. It's like the start of May now, so we will have 1 month to do that. Then the second objective is actually conducting the survey. So if you put in question 4 a different number of surveys, so you just change that number there. So try to put in a certain number of surveys that would need to be done so that you get unbiased results and it's a representation of the full population's views. Because if you only interviewed 10 people, then it probably you wouldn't get everyone's views. It might be biased in some way. Okay, so we've actually got to conduct the survey. So the key responsibility here is probably, I would suggest having 2 versions of the survey, maybe a paper one that customers can do in store, and then also maybe an online one. But I feel like there'd have to be some kind of incentive to make customers actually do the survey. So that's something you can do here. So I guess the task would be to make sure that all of the surveys are printed and the customer service staff in the store have been briefed about what they need to do, and also the incentive is in place, as well as the online survey is up and ready to go. Key performance indicator, how will you know once you've surveyed 400 customers? Well, once 400 customers have done the survey. Maybe if it's not tracking very well, maybe the incentive you've got isn't good enough and you need to change it. So the responsibility again would be you, the head of marketing and the marketing department. And then the time frame, so this is by the end of June. So we have another month after we develop the survey to do that. Then lastly, it's contact relevant suppliers and obtain quotes by the end of August. So this is obtaining some quotes in order to get the marketing opportunity underway. So I guess this is assuming that the survey has told us that it is a good idea. So the key responsibilities would be to contact suppliers and ask them, how much it would cost to get your marketing opportunity into the store. So it would completely depend on what it is. And you'd be, I guess, in the task comparing prices versus quality. You want a good balance of both. And then key performance indicator. So you will know you're successful once you've chosen a reliable supplier and you've found them. Responsibility, again, head of marketing and the marketing team. And the time frame is by the end of August. So you'll have 2 months to do that. Cool. So that is your market research plan complete. So hit save on that so it is saved within your assignment. That's not the one. Here we go. Okay, so we'll scroll down. 6, explain how you will support your team members to enable them to meet the expected performance outcome. So we've just given them the performance plan in the market research plan. What strategies can you implement if some team members do not currently have the desired level of competencies and skills and experience? So consider how positive group dynamics can help your team. So I've given you page 21 for that one. We'll scroll down. Go. Ooh, I don't know if that's quite right. Oh, you know what I've done? It's the other ebook. Of course it is. So scroll down to 21. Okay, here we go. Group dynamics. So there's some information. I mean, you don't have to go into social psychologists, blah, blah, blah. Not necessary. But what we're wanting to do is make sure that everyone has the support they need so that they can actually do their task. So some things we can do, so strategies to improve team dynamics, you could do those ones there so that everyone's feeling supported. Definitely one. It's also saying something about what if they didn't have the recommended task. So maybe you could give them like a mentor or something so that they're able to learn the skills quickly of someone that's experienced. So that's all you're doing for that question, 6A. Then 6B, name 2 strategies you would put into place to ensure your team are involved in the decision-making process. So this is section 2.1. Go to the correct ebook this time. Okay, so this is section 2, 2.1. Okay, so you can use some of these things here, like brainstorming, weekly team meetings, making sure people can give feedback on things, making sure there's communications, so that's nice and open as well. Maybe performance reviews, giving team members like mentoring and buddy systems and fostering good relationships. They're all really good things. And there's also some of these dot points here too. But you only need to name 2. So make sure you pick 2 good ones for that. And like tie it in with, be sure to address how the team would be encouraged to be involved in planning. So make sure whatever you choose, how that's helping to encourage them. 6C then is developing a performance procedure. So let's go back to this. And it is literally these steps here. So there's 8 steps. You don't need to write as much as what's in them. You can set it out in a table if you want to, but you can probably condense them a little bit smaller. So that's all you have to do for 6C. Put in a performance procedure. And then 6D, explain how you will reward your individual team members and whole team efforts. So there's sort of 2 things here, because sometimes the whole group does well, and then sometimes one person goes above and beyond. So you want to make sure that you're congratulating both, and you kind of have to do that in different ways. So we've got feedback as a basic need. It's always nice to actually be given praise when you do something and getting noticed. So positive feedback, creating a sense of personal belonging and acceptance. That's always nice. So there's some things to keep in mind about feedback. So maybe when you're congratulating a whole group, you know, you're telling them all the things that they've done well as the group, but then when it's an individual, you want to make it a bit more personal. What else have we got? Give constructive feedback. There's some ways of giving great feedback. And then we've got individual and team praise here. So praise the team when the majority of members have made a contribution. That makes sure, and then praise an individual for their particular outstanding performance. So just make sure you have a read through that and summarize maybe how you would change it up. Cool. And lastly, 6E, you are aware that from time to time issues, concerns, and problems will be identified by team members. You want to show the team that you are open to discussing and resolving these matters. Develop a team issue resolution procedure. So 2.4. Okay. So here we go. So this is saying the first step that you can do is to recognize there's a problem, and it's totally normal for this to happen in teams, definitely. But if you also go to section 4.1, there's more things about this. But you could just copy in this table here. So identify the problem, define it. How do we address it? Select the most effective solution, implement the solution, communicate with all stakeholders, and then evaluate to see if it's been successful. If it hasn't been successful, then maybe you need to go back around the circle. So I would just put in something like this. I think that would be great. Excellent. So we'll just leave it there for this video and keep going with another one.